Today we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing fractions. Now, to multiply fractions, there are a couple of steps. First, you want to multiply the numerators, then you want to multiply the denominators, and then simplify your expression if necessary. Let's do some examples together. So we have 1/3 times 2/5. So I'm going to multiply straight across, multiply the numerator, so that's 2, multiply the denominator, so that's 15. So we have 2 over 15. Check to see if you can simplify this. Is there any number that can go into both 2 and 15? If not, you're all done. So in this case, we are done. All right, the next one, we have 3/7 times 3/2. So multiply the numerator, so we have 3 times 3, which is 9, and 7 times 2, which is 14. See if there's anything you can simplify, and if not, that is your answer. All right, for this next one, we have 2 times 1/8. Now, because that first one is not a fraction, we want to write it as a fraction. So 2 is the same as 2 over 1. So I'm going to write that there. And then we'll do it the same way. So I'm going to multiply the numerator. So 2 times 1 is 2. And then 1 times 8 is 8. So we have 2 over 8. And now we want to simplify this as much as we can. Now check to see if there's anything that will go into both 2 and 8 in this case. Both are divisible by 2. So if we divide both of them by 2, we end up with 1 over 4. So our answer here is 1/4. All right, looking at D, our next one here, notice how in this case we have a mixed number, the 1.5. It is written as a whole number and a fraction. What we want to do is we want to write this as an improper fraction so that it is completely a fraction and we can multiply it that way. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this 1 that's out in front, multiply it by 2, and then you're going to add the 1 up on top. So 1 times 2 is 2, plus the 1 on top is 3. So this is the same as 3 over 2. Now, for that denominator, you know it's always going to be the same as the denominator of the fraction part of the mixed number. All right, so now we can take this and we can multiply. So 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 4 is 8, so this is equal to 9 over 8. We cannot simplify that any further, so this is 9/8. Now let's talk about dividing fractions. To divide fractions, you're going to flip the second fraction, and then once you've done that, you are going to multiply the fractions, and then simplify if necessary. You may have learned this in the past as keep, change, flip, meaning you keep the first fraction, you change the operation from division to multiplication, and then you flip the second fraction. So keep, change, flip if that's a way that you had learned it in the past. All right, so now let's take a look at some examples. In this first one, we have 9/11 divided by 1/2. So I'm going to keep the 9/11. I'm going to change it to multiplication, and I'm going to change the 1/2 to 2 over 1. And now I just have a multiplication problem. So 9 times 2 is 18, 11 times 1 is 11. 18 over 11 is as simplified as it can be, so that is our answer. All right, our next problem, we have 3 divided by 2/13. So again, we're going to keep, change, and flip. So that first one, I'm going to actually write it as a fraction, so 3 over 1. And then I'm going to multiply by 13 over 2. And now I'm going to multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominator. So 3 times 13 is 39, and 1 times 2 is 2. And we cannot simplify that any further, so 39 over 2 is going to be our answer here. All right, the next one, we have 7/8 divided by 3. So I'm going to first start off by rewriting that 3 as 3 over 1. And now I can rewrite this so the first fraction stays the same, so 7/8 times 1 over 3. And then now I can multiply, so 7 times 1 is equal to 7. 8 times 3 is equal to 24. And this can't be simplified any further, So 7 over 24 is going to be our answer. All right, now let's look at this next one where we have a number of mixed numbers here. So before we do anything with the division or changing any of the fractions, let's change the mixed numbers so that we're actually looking at just fractions. So for the first one, we're going to do 2 times 3 plus 1, which is equal to 7. And this is going to be over 3. Next, we have 1 and 5 sixths. So 1 times 6 is 6, plus 5 is 11, so this is 11 over 6. Remember that the denominator is always going to be the same as the denominator within the mixed number. All right, so now let's go ahead and flip the 11 over 6 so that it is 6 over 11. So this is going to be 7/3 times 6 over 11. And then we can multiply, so 7 times 6 is 42. 3 times 11 is 33. And then see if this can be simplified any further. And in fact, both of these can be divided by 3. So 42 divided by 3 is equal to 14, and 33 divided by 3 is equal to 11. So this is 14 over 11, and that is our simplified answer. All right, in this next example, you'll see that we have two fractions, and they are written as 2/5 over 6/7. This is really just a division problem. So let's just write it in a way that's similar to the other problems. So this is 2/5 divided by 6/7. And then now we can rewrite it as 2/5 times 7 over 6. And that's equal to 14 over 30. And that can be simplified because both of those can be divided by 2. So this becomes 7 over 15. So our answer here is 7/15. Our last problem here, we have 3/4 over 1/5. This is the same as 3/4 divided by 1/5. And so now we can rewrite this as 3/4 times 5 over 1, which is equal to 15 over 4. And that is as simplified as that can be written.